VA's Office of Blind Rehabilitation Services estimates there are approximately 130,000 veterans in the United States who are legally blind, and more than 1 million veterans who have low vision that causes a loss of ability to perform necessary daily activities. In this era of instant communication, where we get overwhelmed with data or facts that are useless to unsighted individuals, wouldn't it be great if we could count on news focused on real problems that impact the daily lives of veterans without sight? Introducing Wisdom for Blinded Veterans, an advanced informational portal designed by blind veterans specifically for blind and vision impaired vets that, like them, are facing challenges every day. Hi, my name is Ben, and I know the frustration. I've struggled in day-to-day tasks for over 20 years since I lost my eyesight. One of my biggest challenges has always been trying to stay up to date with the latest information of my eye disease, local news, and the ever-changing technology. I wanted to be able to have one single site that merged all the data scattered, and that's why we created Wisdom for Blinded Vets. This is a portal that can be accessed via the web, a smartphone app, telephone, email, text messaging, or Amazon's Alexa. It integrates with readers such as JAWS or Apple's VoiceOver and various other tools to give you a seamless experience. This portal will keep us updated on a variety of topics and will share knowledge that can help make our lives easier and more fulfilled. Highlights of the topics covered on the portal include podcasts, events, news, blind rehab and training, information on the BVA and other groups, a list of coordinator and bros list, online groups to interact with fellow vets facing the same challenges, and much more. Give us a try. You will not be disappointed. To learn more about us, visit our website www.w4bv.org. If you're interested in sharing your knowledge, please consider becoming a contributor by logging into our portal and going to the contributor section for more information. Wisdom for Blinded Veterans, transforming blind veterans' lives.
I took a musket ball in Chancellorsville.
Hi, I'm Mike Byer, Executive Director for Operation Song, where we pair Nashville's songwriters with veterans, active duty military, and their families to tell their stories through the process of songwriting. Our services are 100% free, and songwriting or musical talent is not required. For more information, check us out at operationsong.org. If you think this is something you're interested in, email us at contact@operationsong.org.
Till the last Monday in May.
You're listening to W4TB Radio from the Wisdom for the Blind Studios in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we share some wisdom to help you navigate the seas to stay in calm waters. Please visit us on the web at w4tb.org or drop us an email at feedback@w4tb.org. You can also download the W4TB radio app at the Apple Store or Google Play. Please share the knowledge and tell a friend. Now, back to the show. It's possible and probable that the sight impaired and blind can see the world and play in it, having more fun and with deeper passion than people with sight. Welcome to Insight to Travel, produced by Wisdom for the Blind and VNS Productions, a division of VNS International. Being blind or sight impaired doesn't mean you don't get out into the world and enjoy it. And that's why we're here. Learn how to travel safely and how to enjoy things in different parts of the world. Let's do this, and let's have some fun from the studios in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. This is Insight to Travel, and this is your host, Benjamin Keeley.
Welcome to another episode of Insight to Travel with Wisdom for the Blind. And thank you, Keith, for that introduction. I'm David, and we're here with Ben, and we're going to talk about Ben's cruise to Greece. Good afternoon, Ben. How you doing today?
Dave. How are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Nice and hot and sunny as usual. So you just went on a fantastic cruise. Tell us about it. Tell us about your air travel, the cruise, and what you did exciting.
Well, it was a great trip. It really was. We left from Fort Lauderdale, and we went into New York. And that trip was real good. Delta did a great job on that. Unfortunately, because I have my bad leg, when we got to New York, the escort that takes me in the chair wasn't there. And that's always, no matter where you go with Delta, they really have a bad problem on trying to get that escort lined up. I had the same problem in Atlanta. Everywhere I go, I have the problem. But eventually we got that taken care of, and we headed on to another gate in New York, and we got on another plane to Barcelona, Spain. And it was another Delta flight. And I really have to tell you, you go on these trips and sometimes you just don't have the leg room. Delta does a great job on, the leg room, the comfort, and, it's a long flight, and they did good. So I give kudos to Delta for the flight attendants. Great job. I think it was an Air Force pilot because he took all the time in the world when he landed the plane. The Navy pilots, they normally slam on them brakes, because they're thinking they're on an aircraft carrier, but
right.
Yeah, but the Delta pilot was great. The only thing that I have to complain about was going to Barcelona. They served some kind of lasagna, and they should have kept it back in New York. But everything else was great. Great crew, great leg room, great movies. The whole plane was It was an Airbus, so I was really pleased with the whole thing. And I have to be a little biased. I've been flying Delta for all my life. They're a great organization, and they do a good job. Unfortunately, the people that do their wheelchairs is a contract company, and I don't think they really care because no matter where you're at, they just don't get it. Delta needs to work on that. But so we landed in Barcelona, and we took a taxi that we had lined up from the airport, and we took it to a Marriott chain, and it was a great hotel in a nice little neighborhood, more upper class neighborhood. And it was a nice room, and we settled in and took a little nap, and then we got started. We spent the day just visiting. We had some family there. We had a nice dinner, and then we went around and saw some of the outlet. I don't want to call them outlet malls, but it was an outside mall. It was real nice and great shops and great food, and
like an open air market.
It was definitely like an open air market. It was real good. So we spent 2 days in there. We saw the sights and enjoyed it, and then after the third day, we packed up the hotel room and we headed down the street, and we got on board our vessel. We took a Princess Cruise Line, and we were blessed to be on their newest ship. It was the Sun Princess. And let me tell you, the embarkation was fabulous. I was real impressed. We were on board the ship. If it was 15 minutes, I'm giving you a lot of room there. It was just well done. They use the medallions where you have a little thing that you wear around your wrist or your neck, and it's your room key, it's your onboard charge, your boarding pass, everything. And the ship was just gorgeous, great ship, brand new, and very friendly crew, and it was a great start. So we got in there and got settled in. So one of my biggest complaints, I think, on the whole vessel is that the aisles in where the cabins are, so the hallways, are not big enough for the linen carts and a walker, because we know I'm still using a walker, unfortunately. So when I went by the linen carts, you had to fold up that walker to get it by. And then going into the cabins, a walker wouldn't fit, so you'd have to fold that up. But, the ship was very clean, and the crew was, real good. When we got into the cabin the first night, I noticed that the beds weren't put together. My wife and I like to have the beds pushed together. And we talked to the room steward. His name was Jose. He was a great guy. And he's like, Mr. Keeley, we don't recommend that. And I'm like, I've been cruising all my life. I've always do that. And he said, okay, I'll move them together. And unfortunately, a day later, I told him, please separate them, because the new ship, instead of the extra beds coming out of the ceiling, they come out of the wall. So you just don't have that room inside and inside. I was in an inside cabin, so you didn't have that. But it had a nice TV, great bathroom, was good. The step wasn't high into the bathroom. So overall it was good, a little tight, but, we get the inside cabins all the time because I don't like light and I like to sleep. And that's the only way. So little downfall that we had a tight cabin because of, the beds and stuff like that. But it was a, nice cabin. The restroom, we call them the head in the Navy, was very nice, had glass door. One thing they did do, Dave, was they had some drinking glasses in the bathroom. I didn't see them because they were clear against a mirror. So I almost broke one. So my recommendation would be to put those maybe on the second shelf. And then it was a little tight to open up that shower door, but I'm not going to complain about that because the shower was nice and roomy. And normally I'm a big boy and sometimes I don't have enough room for a shower. I had a lot of good room, good water pressure, everything. And then in the bathrooms, the other thing to point out was that they stored all the towels underneath. So if you were totally blind, Dave, you would never find the towel.
Right. I had that problem a lot.
So overall, for a cabin with the vision impairment or totally blind, I think they did a great job.
So Ben, with your mobility issues, do they have grab bars in the showers and in the bathroom?
They do.
They do.
I'm very picky about that. We'll go back to the hotel. They even had a grab bar in there. I'm real picky when I get my rooms. I don't like to have a bathtub because I don't feel comfortable, reaching over there. But I did not have a handicap room on board the ship, but they still had a grab bar.
Nice,
so I was very comfortable and I felt safe. The other thing in the bathroom is they had these white containers, and in the shower they had 3 white containers. One was shampoo, the other was conditioner, and the other one was body wash. And then they had hand cream and they had hand soap on the sink by the in the bathroom. Those are great. I understand why they do them, but we need to figure out how a blind person can identify what is what. And I don't know about you, but I'm not going to taste to see what's soap and what's hand cream. So they were all white bottles to me. So even if they were colored, that would help me, but it wouldn't help you, Dave.
Right.
So recommendation to the cruise lines, hey, remember, great concept, saving a lot of resources, which we need to do, but we need to remember that that we need to have some kind of consistency. I thought I was onto something. I asked my daughter, I said, so what is it? And she told me it was shampoo, conditioner, hand soap, body soap. I said, great. And then went to another hotel and it was different. So there's no consistency. So if you have your mate or your caregiver can tell you what it is and they don't move it, that's cool. What I did with the hand soap and the hand cream is I put the hand soap by the sink and I put the hand cream up on one of the shelves. So, we dealt with it and it was still a great experience. But
I like to put them in order, alphabetical order.
Well, that's too much for me in the morning when I got to go to the bathroom and then I have to, okay, is it hand soap or is it lotion first? A, B, C, D, E, F. Oh, I'm not going to do that, Dave.
All right, Ben. Okay.
So
I forgot you're a sailor.
That's right. I can't do alphabets in the morning. But beautiful ship, and I really have to commend. So after we got into the room and we got settled, the luggage got delivered, and we put that away. And so we moseyed up to the buffet line, and it was a little different. So we were on deck 9, and the buffet line was on deck 9. And I have to commend Princess for this one. You know, normally you get to the buffet line, it's the first day of the cruise, and there's just lines and everybody wants food. I don't know if you've experienced that, Dave, or not.
Oh, yeah.
There was no lines. It was great. And the crew, you know, in the buffet area was just very helpful. You know, I had my walker and they were like, hey, let us get your plate. And, you know, we went right up there. Great selection. They had Asian, they had Mexican, they had pasta, they had American. They had everything you can imagine, and it was good. It was hot. You know, sometimes you get the buffet lines and they're not hot. And then we found another little secret. And in the other room, so you got the main buffet area, then there's what's called the Express. And that was even better. And what I liked about the Express is it's right back on the back of the ship, and there's tables outside. And that's something Princess did on the Sun Princess, which was very nice, is there was outside seating on both sides of the vessel and in the back. So it was just a great experience. And that's also where they had like the hamburgers, and they had a taco bar and all kinds of things. So they're utilizing that public area space with fresh air and great seating. And it was just, I was very impressed with, right off the bat, the food was good, it was hot, and didn't have to wait in line to get your food. It was a good experience.
And the weather was good.
The weather was fabulous. Well, it was good, but it was hot too, but it was like a warm heat. It's not like Florida mugginess. It was nice.
Right. Now, did they have entertainment going on at first day on the deck, like the singers and stuff like that? Did they do any kind of entertainment?
They did. They had an outside band going on, and then they had piano music when you first came on board the ship, and down in the main atrium there. So it was very nice. It was, you know, well done. And even, you know, embarkation's always like, you know, a headache, and everybody's running around, and you got to do this and you got to do that. You know, we got registered. The lifeboat drills were good. They made you watch the video in the cabin. We got Abby registered for, I call it the kids room, but I'm not allowed to call that the kids room anymore. So it's the teens lounge now that she's gotten older. So we have to watch.
Right. The young adult room.
Yeah, young adult room. But they had a lot of great pools. They had an adult area. They had a solarium. And overall, you know, we hadn't started walking the ship yet, but it was a great first day. I was real impressed. And, you know, we got underway. They had a great going away party. And it was good.
All right. Well, I think we're going to take a little break for a commercial, and then we'll come back with Insight to Travel with Ben and David.
Wisdom for the Blind is dedicated to doing everything we can for the blind and sight impaired. If you'd like to bless us with a donation to keep the website, the podcast, the webinars, and the radio station operating, we can't express how grateful we'd be. You can go to the website at w4tb.org. That's w4tb.org, and hit the donation button. Or you can mail it to Wisdom for the Blind Incorporated. Attention donations. 1005 Marine Mile Boulevard, Suite 255, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33315. Wisdom for the Blind is a not-for-profit 501c3 organization. Remember, it's tax deductible. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts at Wisdom for the Blind.
Looking for a fitness app that is accessible for the blind? Well, look no further. Revision Fitness is just what the trainer ordered. This audio and text-based fitness program has a wide selection of fitness options, including cardio, strength, yoga, balance, flexibility, and even progressive relaxation sessions. Download Revision Fitness on the App Store or Google Play, or visit revisionfitnessapp.com and get a free 14-day trial for new users. Find your fit with Revision Fitness. And as always,
Revision Fitness.
Let's change the way we look at it.
Hey everybody, this is Ben coming to you from the Wisdom for the Blind studios in sunny Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Just want to remind you that we got a great podcast called Insight to Travel, where we share all the latest information on cruises, hotels, restaurants, and everything all over, making your trips a lot easier. Please drop in and listen to our podcast. You can find them on Spotify, Apple's podcast, or any of the other areas that you find. So please remember, share the wisdom, tell a friend. Help Wisdom for the Blind navigate the seas for calmer waters. Hope to see you. Thanks.
You're listening to W4TB Radio from the Wisdom for the Blind studios in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we share some wisdom to help you navigate the seas to stay in calm waters. Please visit us on the web at w4tb.org or drop us an email at feedback@w4tb.org. You can also download the W4TB radio app at the Apple Store or Google Play. Please share the knowledge and tell a friend. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back to Insight to Travel with Ben and David. We're back talking about Ben's cruise. And welcome back, Ben. So continue on there. You had sounds like you had a great first day so far.
It was good. So then, that night we ate in the dining room. Again, the same thing that it's kind of like my pet peeve. The first night, you always have the trouble trying to get the bold print or the Braille menus. Once they, found out that they needed the bold menus, they brought them to my cabin. I had them for the rest of the cruise. It wasn't an issue. I just wish, and it's not just Princess, it's everybody. Every cruise line has the same thing. So I wish they'd have some, at the maitre d's desk and ready to rock and roll, so you don't have to, struggle with that. But I had my OrCam. I was able to read with the menu with the OrCam and choose. And we ate in the dining room that night, and then we went to the show lounge for the show. The show theater was very nice. It's almost like a theater in the round, and it was a local singer. And I'm going to share something a little later, but there was something that wasn't advertised in the daily program well. I might have been there, but I didn't catch it until later on in the cruise, and we'll share that with you in a few minutes. But after that, we went to the show, and then we went down and we had a little ice cream, and down at the deck coming back from the show lounge, they had some nice ice cream and bakery goods there, and we had a nice kind of like a little Starbucks area, so you can get some hot chocolate, and we had some cookies and ice cream. It was very nice. And the next day was a sea day, and it was very relaxing. We were on our way to our first port of call, which was with Gibraltar. But during the sea day, we laid out there and relaxed. I did do a little work, don't tell anybody, but the internet was good and fast. And so we hung out by the pool, and again, we ate at the buffet line. So that's when I learned more about that express lane for breakfast. But the breakfast selection was just as good as the lunch and everything. They had everything from omelet station to they had basically a waffle pancake station. They had all kinds of bakeries, great bacon and sausage and potatoes, and just a very good selection in the express and also the full. We didn't eat in the dining room, but the dining room was also open. And then we just hung out. They had great activities during the sea day, and it was very relaxing. It was a great unwinding from our time in Barcelona, and then basically gearing up to start seeing some great ports of call. So that night they had the show itself, which was with the dance teams and everything, and it was about pirates. It was a great show. I recommend everybody look for that show if you're going on the Sun Princess. Great stage presence, great dancing, great music from the singers, and the sets and everything was very cool. It was a great show, and that was all about pirates there. And so we finished it, we had dinner in the dining room, went to the show, and that was our day at sea. The next morning, we arrived in Gibraltar, beautiful port there. We were alongside and had an opportunity to go ashore. One thing about Gibraltar is you just got to be careful because the taxis, they were all over the place. And, we were told it was one price when we, started doing our research. We got there, it was like double. They didn't want to negotiate. And I brought a scooter that I just bought. It was a fold-up scooter. So first time I brought the fold-up scooter, it really was very useful. So I was able to, walk with my family, and, one of them stayed as the chaperone to make sure I don't run anybody over. But it was pretty cool. But we didn't get a taxi to do a tour. We ended up going into town, and we waited in one area in town for another taxi, and they never came. So we just stayed locally in the area, and we had a great lunch, and I actually learned a new drink, and I really, I'm like addicted to this thing now. It's called ginger beer. I like ginger ale. I like it, but now this is a ginger beer. It's a little more bite to it, but it was nice. We had a great lunch there, and then we headed back to the ship, and it was a good evening. And then we ate back in the dining room that night. And then we got underway for our next port of call, and I believe we had on to the next one. We went one more sea day, and then we headed up into going into France. But overall, it was good. And what I learned, and I told you I'd tell you this little secret, was that the nights that they have just the local singer, not the shows, they have a whole new showroom up on the top. It's called the Dome. And we missed it the first few times. They do 2 shows a week. We were there for 14 days. And we didn't catch it until the last show. But I was, told, you got to check the show out in the Dome. And we never got to catch it. But the last night we caught it. And that Dome is a great theater. Whoever designed it, it's one of the best I've seen on stage. Kind of like a Circus Olay act, a lot of trapeze, but the audio and the light show that goes with it is spectacular. So, something like you've never seen before. Just real good for something on board a ship. You need to get there early and plan because it's not that big of a venue. It fills up very quickly, but make sure you see both shows. They do it 2 times, and it's the same night as the singers versus the shows. And they don't really publish it that much, but, it was a good adventure. The other thing that...
I find out a lot on cruises is that you really need to be careful and really look at the daily newsletter to find out what's playing and what shows are on, because it's so easy to miss something. Like the Dome, it was probably there. It's probably just so much going on, you kind of overlooked it.
Yeah, you need to read closely because, sorry, I got a phone and I can't turn it off. Sorry about that. Now it's on the podcast.
It's okay. Just ignore it.
But you really need to pay attention because there's a lot of great opportunities for different events. They had we got a chance to walk around the ship on the sea day. We found a great Irish pub that was very nice. And one thing that they did that I forgot to mention, welcome aboard. They had a great welcome aboard party in the atrium. And it was a champagne theme. And they had, a little bit of the Circus Olay theme. They had trapeze and, all kinds of gymnastic kind of show there. And then you got a chance to meet all the executives, the captain and all that. Well done. And it was a great opportunity to do that. And that was in the atrium. I think that was on deck.
Would you say there's a lot of family on that ship? A lot of younger people, cross-generational, or what was it like?
There was a lot of youth on board the ship. My daughter had an opportunity to meet a bunch of kids her age, and it was good. It's not kind of like some of the other brands. So I would say it was more in a mixture of Carnival, Royal Caribbean, and kind of like Princess and NCL kind of thing. So it was a good mixture. Princess is owned by Carnival. They do a good job. I was very impressed. And that ship I was on was the newest ship. And if you remember, back in the day, the Sun Princess and the Sun Pacific were the two boats, or ships that were used for the original Love Boat. So
that's right. That's right.
It was, they've gotten a little bigger than the Love Boat, but they still play that Love Boat whistle when they get ready to get underway, and it brings back a lot of memories because that was one of my favorite TV shows.
Yeah, mine too.
So it was good.
Now, do they have an afternoon tea like 2-3 o'clock where they serve baked goods?
They sure do.
Like,
We caught it the second week. It was like the first week we just didn't pay attention to the daily program, and we missed a lot of stuff. So you really need to focus on that. But
and what was your favorite meal on that ship? What was your favorite food that you had?
Favorite meal?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. There were so many. I did some. When we were doing, we ate in two specialty restaurants while we were on there. One of them was the seafood, which was delicious. I had lobster, but they had a steak and lobster. They had a lobster, and what they do is that express restaurant that I told you about. At nighttime, they turn that into two different separate upgraded dining. And the night we went, we were actually in the channel in Turkey. So we had an opportunity to go under the largest bridge between Asia and Europe. And so my daughter and I ran outside. Well, she ran, I walked. Outside, we got some great pictures of the bridge. It's a suspension bridge, one of the largest in the world. And that's how you get up into Turkey. So we saw that, and then we sat down and had a great seafood meal. They had some great bread, fresh made bread there. They had sides. So, you had your entree, and then they brought you, they had their own version of truffle fries. They had great mashed potatoes. They had corn. They just all kinds of, different, not appetizers, but sides. And then they had also had some good appetizers appetizers. I think I had a crab cake, and my wife had some kind of like a version of bang bang shrimp. So that was a very nice one. But I think one of my favorite restaurants we went to for an upgrade one was a magic show dinner. So in the other side of the restaurant from the express area, you go in and you sit and you have a dinner, and it's like a tasting dinner. So they bring you different types of champagnes and wines, all kinds of food. And then from there, they escort you into a show lounge. And that show lounge basically turns into another little movie theater, not movie theater, but a showroom. And it's all about magic. So you walk in and they give you the story about the magic house. And you then walk into a room that has a piano, and it's supposed to be haunted. And you tell it what song you want to play, and it will play it on the piano. And it's a ghost that's playing it for you. And then you go into another room, and that room turns into a little bar, and they have all kinds of drinks that's included in this whole experience. And then from there, they do the first magic show. So there's a lady that stands behind the bar and does some great magic right there. And then while you're drinking and sampling some more drinks, after that, you go into a theater, and then it's a magic show. So the whole theme is magic, and it was a great specialty dinner entertainment package for the night. It was very enjoyable.
Wow, that sounds really good. I don't know about the rest of the people listening, but I'm ready to go on Sun Princess for sure. So we're going to take another little break here, and then we'll be back with Ben and David about the cruise.
Do you enjoy a good read? Or do you enjoy sharing new books with friends? Then join us on the second Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Wisdom Books, a virtual book club just for the blind or visually impaired. You can also hear a pre-recorded episode on Wisdom Radio every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. For more information, go to w4tb.org and click the link Wisdom Books for more information. And please don't forget to share the wisdom.
Veterans deserve as much help as they can get. They put their lives on the line for their country, and yet there's still an ongoing mental health crisis among military veterans that needs to be addressed. Well, if you're a veteran who wants the support of fellow veterans and to support fellow veterans, join Wisdom for the Blind's Cup of Joe virtual coffee and chat. It's low-key, fun, and gives veterans an outlet to talk with others who fully understand what they're going through. Get connected at Wisdom for the Blind's website, w4tb.org/cupofjoe.
You're listening to W4TB Radio from the Wisdom for the Blind studios in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we share some wisdom to help you navigate the seas to stay in calm waters. Please visit us on the web at w4tb.org or drop us an email at feedback@w4tb.org. You can also download the W4TB radio app at the Apple Store or Google Play. Please share the knowledge and tell a friend. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back to Insight to Travel on the Wisdom for the Blind. We're here with Ben and David, and we're talking about Ben's fantastic cruise on the Sun Princess. Ben, go ahead and pick it up.
Oh, yeah, and it was great then. Thanks to our guests for coming back. So we had an opportunity after the sea day. We went to France, and we went to the part where they're going to actually have the Olympics for all the yacht racing and basically all the water sports. And we did a little city tour and went around there. It was such a beautiful place, but they were really cleaning it up and getting ready for that Olympics, adventure there. So they had all the yacht racing and any kind of the water sports was pretty much there. And I forgot the name of the city. I'm going Marseille. Thank you. The producer just helped me there. Marseille, France. And it was a very clean and fun city. We took a bus around there. And while we were there, we also had the opportunity to taste some great little cookies that they had. And they made some great soaps and things like that. So it was a very nice day. And that was we arranged that shore excursion on board the ship there. So from there, we went back to the ship, and that was the night that we had the magic show that I told you about. So we really didn't do any entertainment other than that magic show that took us to go. So after we left France, we headed into Italy, Genoa, and we drove and saw some friends, and we had lunch, but we met. It was a beautiful city, very clean, but the roads were like real small. It was just tremendously small, but it was just a beautiful city. My wife and daughter got a chance to go into the ocean and swim for a little bit. But it was great, and we had some true, real great fresh Italian food. It was fabulous, very good, and great time spending with our friends. And then we headed on back to the ship, and that night we ate in the dining room and had another great show in the show lounge. But the next morning we headed in, and we had an opportunity to go into a port, and then they went on some shore excursions where they had the opportunity to see the David and also the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So it was Florence and Pisa. Great opportunity, great history. And we really enjoyed that. And then once that was over, we had the opportunity to get underway. And this was a sad part, but a happy part, because for most people, we headed into Rome, and that was the end of it for everybody but us. We did another cruise, so we did back-to-back. So Rome, we didn't have to pack our bags and all that stuff. We had an opportunity to spend the day in Rome, and it was pretty cool. We rented a limo from Bob's Limo Service, and we headed into Rome on a little private tour. And the first stop we had was the Vatican. Now, I do need to let people know that you really need to be careful, because we kind of messed up on this one. We prearranged to have the guided tour for the Vatican, and we prepaid all that through Bob's Limo. And we had a great driver, and Bob's Limo did good, but there was a little mix-up. If you don't prearrange and you're on a walker or a scooter, you have to take a whole different tour. And Dave, you told me and you warned me about this, and I didn't get it. So I ended up sitting at the bar with the driver, and my wife and daughter had the opportunity to visit the Vatican. Fortunately, I'd been to the Vatican before, so I wasn't that bummed out. I was bummed, but so if you're going into Rome and you want to see the Vatican and you're on a scooter or walker, prearrange that. What do you think, Dave, on that one?
Yeah, even not just a walker or a scooter, but even if you're blind, you can contact the special service office at the Vatican, and they'll arrange a special tour, guided tour for you. So, yeah, definitely do that.
Yeah, so I kind of messed that one up, but it was still a beautiful day. After that, we went to the Colosseum. We saw, a bunch of other great things, and we stopped for lunch. And let me tell you, the lunch I had was superb. It was, so we did like a family style kind of thing, and it was just great. So we started off with all kinds of appetizers, and they kept on bringing the appetizer after appetizer. We had melon and prosciutto, we had this, we had that. Every kind of Italian appetizer you can imagine brought, and it was delicious. My daughter's like, stop. They brought octopus, they brought prosciutto, they brought pizza. It was just fabulous. And then they brought the main course. And we had like 3 or 4 different types of pasta and seafood. It was just fabulous. And then after that, they brought dessert. And the dessert was just, I'm like, I surrender. I couldn't even eat the dessert. But
was that a restaurant off the boat, Ben?
yes, it was off the boat.
Okay.
It was right down the street from the Vatican. And
right.
Our driver brought us there. It was fabulous. A great job. And I'm going to do another little podcast. I wrote down all these restaurants and all these tour companies that we took, and I'm going to share that, make sure that we get all the phone numbers and everything. So look for that. I'm going to be doing that in the future. And it's just going to be Ben's Day in Europe, and it's just going to have all the phone numbers and stuff, people that I would recommend. So look for that little podcast and enjoy what I enjoyed. But that meal, they had to, luckily I was on a scooter because they needed to put bigger tires on that and roll me out. Boy, it was something else.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we went back. It's a little drive from Rome in back to where the port was. So we went back and got on the ship, and it was express because we were already on there. But it was a long day, a little hot, but it was, beautiful. And, I was telling the driver, and I was in Rome many times, and this time it just looked very clean. And what they told me is they're getting ready to celebrate a very holy celebration, and it's going to be next year. So they're cleaning all the statues and all the marble and everything. So the city right now is getting ready for this festival, and it's going to be a great time. So if you're wanting to go celebrate in the festival, look it up, and it's going to be happening next year in the Holy City. And the Vatican just has so much history. It's a country with inside a city, and it's just so much history there. It was great, and I know that my daughter learned a lot from there. So after Rome, we had the opportunity to get back on board, and we headed over to Naples, and that was a beautiful city. And what I enjoyed when I was in Naples, we went into the city and just was able to walk around and see kinds of different things, and it was very good. And we took a little ferry into some other areas, just saw some great stuff, and had a great time. After that, back on the ship, and basically had some more entertainment, and that's when we realized that the dome was on top of the ship and never heard about it. That's when we tried to get into the dome for the first time, and that's when I learned that it fills up fast, because we went up to the dome and it was already full, and we actually had standing room only in the back. So I was able to hear the music and the light show and everything like that. It was great. But then I said, wow. And there was only one more time to see the dome show. And so we made sure that we made it. The next thing we did, had another day at sea on our way to Turkey. And we rented a gazebo outside. And that was a nice adventure. The only complaint that I had about that, when we first got there, it was like they were all over us, taking care of us. We had lobster for lunch. They brought some waffles for me for breakfast. Open bar, had a TV there, and nice lounge chairs, and very cool and good service. Unfortunately, around 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, they started winding down, kind of like closing up, but it was supposed to go on until 5. So great adventure, great opportunity. It was an add-on. It was a little pricey. It was $400. But it was good. But the staff disappeared a little early than what I would like. But who knows? I might have ate them all to death and tired of running around for me. But it was in the private adult area. No kids were allowed. And it was just very nice, quiet music, and it was a good time. So we did that. And then we said before, then we went into Michelob, which is Mykonos. And then before that, we did spend a little time into Greece the first time. And so when we get back, I think we'll talk about my time in Greece, and we'll go from there.
That sounds good.
VA's Office of Blind Rehabilitation Services estimates there are approximately 130,000 veterans in the United States who are legally blind, and more than 1 million veterans who have low vision that causes a loss of ability to perform necessary daily activities. In this era of instant communication, where we get overwhelmed with data or facts that are useless to unsighted individuals, wouldn't it be great if we could count on news focused on real problems that impact the daily lives of veterans without sight? Introducing Wisdom for Blinded Veterans, an advanced informational portal designed by blind veterans specifically for blind and vision impaired vets that, like them, are facing challenges every day. Hi, my name is Ben, and I know the frustration. I've struggled in day-to-day tasks for over 20 years since I lost my eyesight. One of my biggest challenges has always been trying to stay up to date with the latest information of my eye disease, local news, and the ever-changing technology. I wanted to be able to have one single site that merged all the data scattered, and that's why we created Wisdom for Blinded Vets. This is a portal that can be accessed via the web, a smartphone app, telephone, email, text messaging, or Amazon's Alexa. It integrates with readers such as JAWS or Apple's VoiceOver and various other tools to give you a seamless experience. This portal will keep us updated on a variety of topics and will share knowledge that can help make our lives easier and more fulfilled. Highlights of the topics covered on the portal include podcasts, events, news, blind rehab and training, information on the BVA and other groups, a list of coordinator and bros list, online groups to interact with fellow vets facing the same challenges, and much more. Give us a try. You will not be disappointed. To learn more about us, visit our website www.w4bv.org. If you're interested in sharing your knowledge, please consider becoming a contributor by logging into our portal and going to the contributor section for more information. Wisdom for Blinded Veterans, transforming blind veterans' lives.
Wisdom for the Blind is dedicated to doing everything we can for the blind and sight impaired. If you'd like to bless us with a donation to keep the website, the podcast, the webinars, and the radio station operating, we can't express how grateful we'd be. You can go to the website at w4tb.org. That's w4tb.org and hit the donation button. Or you can mail it to Wisdom for the Blind Incorporated. Attention donations. 1005 Marine Mile Boulevard, Suite 255, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33315. Wisdom for the Blind is a not-for-profit 501c3 organization. Remember, it's tax deductible. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts at Wisdom for the Blind. You're listening to W4TB Radio from the Wisdom for the Blind studios in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we share some wisdom to help you navigate the seas to stay in calm waters. Please visit us on the web at w4tb.org or drop us an email at feedback@w4tb.org. You can also download the W4TB radio app at the Apple Store or Google Play. Please share the knowledge and tell a friend. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back to Insight to Travel, and we're back here with Ben and David talking about Ben's trip, and welcome back to all the listeners. Go ahead, Ben. Continue on there. Sounds fantastic.
Well, Dave, thanks for listening to me rumble here. One thing that we really didn't get into, Turkey was fabulous. We had an opportunity to go to some of the bazaars, and they have some of the best olive oil and olives, and got some of those to bring back. I ate half, and then I brought the other back. But beautiful, people are very friendly there, and it was a great opportunity to go in there, and there's a lot of history in Turkey, especially in Lesbon, sorry. And a lot of religion history there with the different mosques and stuff like that. It's a great opportunity to learn a lot of culture there. And that's like the mixture of Asian and European, and a little bit of everything is right there. Big melting pot there. So we spent the day there, and then we headed on to our first Greek port, Crete. And, if you've never been to Greece, you got to take the opportunity to go to Greece. And Crete was, a lot of history there, a lot of beauty. Fortunately, the ships had, they went alongside. There wasn't any tendering or anything. So it was very, very good and a great opportunity for that. And then after Crete, we went into Mykonos, one of my favorite islands, and we took a ferry into the city and actually walked around, had a great lunch, true good Greek food there. I had all kinds of different eggplant and beef and mashed potato, had some gyro meat. Found out that I always thought that lamb was the primary, but it's actually pork or chicken. Lamb is a secondary. So we tried some of that, and I had some great baklava and some more of my ginger beer. Drank a lot of that when I was on the trip there. So that was good. And, the ferry that we took from the ship over was okay, a little hard for a walker or a scooter. There was some big Greek guys, made sure I got on okay. But it was a short ride, but the city is just beautiful. And somebody brought my yacht down there. I didn't know who brought the yacht there, but I know it was mine. It was just gorgeous, David. It was the whole thing. The water's just beautiful, and the pictures you see with the white walls and the blue domes and stuff like that is great. And we walked around the city, and you go through these little alleyways, and just the culture and the people were so friendly, and it was very beautiful. A lot of, if you like photography, there was a lot of great moments that you could see.
How was it walking along the cities, Ben? Was it a lot of cobblestones, uneven, or was it pretty flat?
No, it would be an issue. There's a lot of cobblestones. I did break my my cane when I was out there, and then I think my brand new scooter I bought that folds up, I think needs new tires. I think we timed the 14 days, and then we spent a week in Athens. I think we wiped out the tires. I have to check, but it's pretty rough. You have to be a little careful. Make sure that you have a caregiver next to you, because they're definitely not even, and it is all cobblestone and pebble. But it's, just to feel the sea breeze and the smells of all the different foods and everything. It's definitely nothing to shy away from if you're totally blind. If you have a little vision, it's just beautiful. So after that, we headed in. We had our last day at sea. This is when I did catch the dome show. It was fabulous, and it was something, don't miss it if you go on the Sun Princess. It was just well done. The whole ship in a whole is a beautiful ship, and the staff very friendly, very accommodable, and so we arrived in. After our sea day, we arrived into Athens, and we wrapped up, and we had arranged for a taxi to take us. We stayed at the Marriott in Athens. And so we had arranged for a van to pick us up. And we embarcated pretty quickly and got into that van. And that van took us on a quick little city tour and then to the hotel. And like I said, we stayed at the Marriott at Athens, Greece. And it was a great start. And from there was a nice restaurant around the corner we had dinner at. And then during the day, had a pool up on the top. And I had the opportunity to find, my wife actually found this. And anybody that has trouble getting into the ocean because they're on a walker or a wheelchair or a scooter, or they need, a cane, we found something that turned out to be over 300 installs all over Greece and some parts of Europe. It's called Sea-Track. And we're actually going to feature them on Share the Wisdom. It's like a little train, and you picture it. I go back to my kids' days and picturing this little cart that gets blown across the track and then jumps into the water kind of thing back when you're a kid going into the lakes and stuff like that. But this track takes you into the ocean. And I had the opportunity for the first time. I said 15 years, but my wife said it was 20, that I got to go back in the ocean because I was always on a cane, then I got to the walker and then the scooter and all kinds of things. So I really never had the opportunity to walk in the sand without being afraid that I'm going to fall. But Sea-Track put me right in the ocean and went down there, and it's solar powered. It has a shower when you get out, and it takes you and puts you right in the water, Dave. It's such an experience. And a little funny story, I wear these tennis shoes that are water shoes too. So I got in the ocean for the first time, and they were so buoyant, I almost went upside down. I'm telling my wife, take the shoes off. But I was able to stretch my legs, walk around, and swim with my daughter for the first time. It was nice. It was beautiful, and that's we're going to do a special on them. It's called Sea-Track, and they're all over Greece. And if you're,
it'd be nice to get one over there at Miami Beach or Fort Lauderdale
I'm
Beach or
try.
something.
I'm gonna get Fort Lauderdale involved, see if we can get these. What's real nice is, so they're all over Greece, and you go there, and it's a little handicap accessible area with picnic benches and restrooms and changing rooms, all dedicated to the vision impaired or someone that needs assistance.
Wow, nice,
great program, and it's totally free. And so I really commend that. It was a great opportunity. But some of the things, I know we're short on time, that I wanted to talk about was that if you're with a caregiver, all the museums, all the events and stuff like that, check and ask, because some of them let the caregiver or let you go for free and half price for the caregiver. When we were in Barcelona, Spain, they have a program where they issue canes. The canes are tied into the light crossing walks, and the paths on the street have guides, so you just stay in the kind of like a track for the handicap. And it turns out that they have some of the best vision impaired hospitals and resources available in Barcelona, Spain. And so a lot of them, I wouldn't say 100% were accessible, but the ones that were really just go above what you would expect. Sea-Track and Barcelona and, museums. We went to some museums, and when we were in Athens, we saw all kinds of great history with the first Olympic stadium was there, and I had my daughter run up the stairs pretending like she's carrying the torch, and she's like, "Pop, come on." And I took my scooter around the track, just great history. And it's just a beautiful place. Everybody's very friendly, and the food is crazy. And while the girls were shopping, I was sitting there having my ginger beer and some baklava, and again, some great gyro meat and boiled potatoes and all kinds of things. It was just a great great time in Athens. We spent the week, and then, and wrapping up, we went to the airport and I got on another Delta plane. This time, the Delta plane was fabulous. Again, another Airbus. The food this time was spectacular. They had great chicken. They also had pasta, so it was very nice. And breakfast, they had a breakfast pocket sandwich. It was very nice. But again, Delta was very good. This time, instead of getting a wheelchair, I took the scooter. And I'm glad I did, because when we get to Baltimore, we went to Boston. And Boston is, that was a crazy airport. And I know you're from Boston, Dave, but I tell you, I was not impressed running from the international terminal to Terminal A to get our trip to Fort Lauderdale. It was crazy. And luckily I had the scooter, because we would barely have made it.
Yeah, I did that trip too, Ben, into Boston, and had to go across the whole airport to get to Terminal A to get to Florida. So yeah, it's crazy airport. So, but sounds like you had a great time there.
Yeah, I thought I was going to have time to go to, I think it's called Legal Seafood.
Oh yeah,
but I didn't have that time, so I missed that, because they have some good. I know in the domestic areas they had the restaurants there, but we didn't get the chance to see that. I do want to commend Delta. They did a great job. They did. We did lose one luggage, but they found it, and unfortunately it was ripped. But Delta stepped up to the plate and got that taken care of right away. So Delta's going above what they need to do, and I'm really glad that we flew Delta. And I understand you flew Delta too, with the co-chair with Virgin on your trip, right?
Exactly, and I love Delta, and my wife's actually going on a trip next week, and she's taking Delta. So, yeah, Delta is a great airline, no problem at all. So, 5 being the excellent and 1 being poor, would you do this trip again, Ben?
I would say 5, but one thing that, I'm sorry, but it blew my mind, to be totally honest with you. I'm an old-time cruiser. And, I brought 2 suits and I bought a tuxedo. And that, unfortunately, there was a lot of people in flip-flops and shorts in the dining room at nighttime. And I'm just like, wow, and I'm so used to it at...
You're old school.
Old school, you dress up for dinner. But other than that, and I don't think that's the cruise line. I just, I'd like to see them control a little bit more, but overall, Princess Cruise Line and the Sun Princess and the staff, I got to give them a 5. Yeah, the cabin was small. My only gripe is going to be the shorts, and I think that the dining room staff was a little green. They were a little slow. One night they forgot to serve my meal because they were just overwhelmed. But overall, I'm still going to give them a 5. Things happen, and I just, experience the opportunity to cruise old time, and remember, take the fun and dress up sometimes. Wear a suit or a tuxedo, and enjoy the evening. Get your picture taken with your family, and have a good time. But food, I'm going to give it a 4. Entertainment, I'm going to give it a 4, and everything else, I'm going to just say overall was a 5, Dave.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to doing a Princess Cruise next year. So I'm glad to hear that you had a great time. And I want to thank everybody for listening into this podcast with Ben and Dave on Insight to Travel with Wisdom for the Blind. And you want to remember to spread the wisdom, spread the word, and check us out, all the other podcasts that we have.
Well, thank you very much, Dave. Thanks to our producer, Bree, keeping me on track. And thanks for hosting tonight.
We had fun.
All right. Hope to see everybody back for our next episode.
Hi, I'm Christina Hepner.
And I'm Leslie Hoskins, and we're hosts of the Taking the Lead podcast from Leader Dogs for the Blind.
Our podcast provides insight into the blindness community and impactful stories from our clients.
At LeaderDog, we continue to be the answer for thousands who need our free services. These include guide dog training, white cane training, and more. Once clients complete training, they're reintroduced to a life of safety and independence.
Learn more at leaderdog.org.
Are you a big geek? Do you enjoy learning about new technology? Then join us on the fourth Thursday of every month for the Wisdom Geek Club at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also hear a pre-recorded episode on Wisdom Radio every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. For more information, hit up w4tb.org and click on the Geek Club button on the main page. And don't forget to share the wisdom with a friend.
Hello, listeners. My name is Ellie here at the Wisdom for the Blind Studios, and I have a PSA. Wisdom for the Blind is now on LinkedIn. We can be found at Wisdom for You. Be sure to follow us on LinkedIn to keep with us. Don't forget to share the wisdom.
You've been listening to Insight to Travel, produced by Wisdom for the Blind and VNS Productions, a division of VNS International. Being blind or sight impaired doesn't mean you can't get out into the world, travel, experience life, and have a blast. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, visit the website at w4tb.org. Be safe, and we'll see you next time on Insight to Travel.